B.B. Johnson served in the U.S. Navy beginning at age 17. He worked as a minesweeper in the North Atlantic. Thank you for coming. You may decline to answer any questions you're not comfortable with. And if you want us to stop recording, please let us know.
Okay.
During World War II, what branch of service did you serve in?
United States Navy.
What was your rank?
Fireman second class.
Where did you serve?
All over. New York City, Miami, Florida, Norfolk, Virginia, mostly.
Why did you pick the branch of service you joined?
Well, it was kind of, I was in the Tennessee State Guard then, which was nationalized during World War II, like before the days of the present way of doing things. And I went through a boot camp and was a rifleman and all that stuff when I was 16, of all things. And I knew if I went in the Army, I'd be in the infantry, and I wasn't going to do it. So I joined the Navy. That's what caused it. That's how it came about, really.
Where did you go for your basic training?
Williamsburg, Virginia. Camp Perry at Williamsburg, Virginia. It was a CB camp, but I was not in the CBs.
What are the CBs?
What are the CBs? They're a construction group, the Navy personnel. They build airfields and repair things and stuff like that.
What do you remember most about basic training?
Well, it was in the summer, the heat. Virginia heat is something else. In fact, they shave all your hair off, and then they give you a cap to put on, and around the side you're just raw where your hair used to be. And I got sunburned, and that swelled up like something awful. But all of us were like that, you know.
When you served in World War II, where did you go after basic training?
I went to I've forgotten the name of the thing, Naval Training Center in Gulfport, Mississippi, and was trained as an electrician. And that was my first place in a duty.
What do you remember most about arriving there?
It was strange. I was just 17, so I was just a little kid. So I was a green kid from the North City, and I didn't know anything. And I was a little bit afraid of it, to tell you the truth.
What was your assignment?
After that, in the school, I went to school there for 16 weeks, called an A class, I think it was, in that training. And after that, I went to New York City and got on a minesweeper, in which I was trained to do. And I became a minesweeping technician then, which I liked a lot.
Sounds fun.
I tried to get on the submarines, and they wouldn't take me. I don't know why.
Did you see combat?
No. Well, not really. We patrolled the North Atlantic, and we were a coastal group, actually, and we swept for mines up and down the Atlantic coast from New Jersey up to Newfoundland and back. That's really what we did.
Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences.
Oh boy. Oh, one time, the gate, if we called it, we were dragging in the water to cut the mines are anchored on the bottom of the sea with a cable. And we had this sled, another name for it, and we drug it through the water, and it had vanes that would adjust the depth. And it got caught on got caught on an old ship, we thought. That meant that we had to back the ship down and retrieve our cable and try to get that thing off. Well, in putting it, the wind was blowing such a way we had a little problem keeping it straight into the big old, there was a big old reel about that much, about that big, in the back of the thing that held this cable, and it popped loose and it threw me over the side, and I swam around in the ocean for 10 seconds till I got out. It's quite an experience. I had on foul weather gear, and it was cold, and the wind was blowing, and I thought, well, I'm gone, but I wasn't. I bobbed right back up, and they threw me a thing and pulled me in. It was exciting.
Were you awarded any medals or citations?
No, I didn't do anything to do that. Not really.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
Letters. Rarely talked on the telephone. Maybe once or twice while I was up there. I was there 2 years, almost 2 years.
What was the food like?
Very, very good.
Very good.
Yeah, our little ship had 29 people on it. 2 officers and the rest of us were all enlisted. Of course, I was at the bottom of the pile, but we all ate in shifts. The dining room was a very small thing, the mess as we call it, and food was excellent. We had a lot of steak and we had a lot of lobster and stuff. It was great.
What kind of supplies did you need?
What kind of supplies did we need? The regular. Ours was supplied with ammunition for our guns. We had, we had a 3.5 gun up on the bow of the ship, and then we had 250 caliber guns. And we had depth charges, but most of the supplies that I helped put on the ship were food. We ate a lot of food.
Could you tell me something that you or someone you knew did for good luck?
No, I can't. I don't recall anything like that. Might have been a lot of it, but I don't recall.
What is involved in minesweeping?
Well, there are several types of efforts to destroy mines, one of which was the sled I mentioned a little bit ago. It has a cable cutter that looked like that, sort of. And the cable would hit our cable and it would drag down to that, which was on the head of the sled, and when it hit it, it would, like that, when the spring, big strong spring, and cut the cable, it would come up and we would destroy it with a gunfire, 50 caliber machine gun. Another method was there was a big old thing this big around, about that long, bell-shaped, and the end of it was closed with a piece of sheet metal, and inside was a air hammer. It went prrr, real loud, very, very loud. We dropped it under the ship, and as we go by certain kinds of mines, that would explode them. Acoustic mines, they called those. And there was another one, there was one that used electrical discharge. We had cables about 4 or 5 inches around, I guess, something like that. And they were 1,200 feet and something else, I've forgotten the other measurement. Long, long things. We drug them through the water, passed electrical currents from the short end to the long end, and reverse, and that would set off some types of mines. So that was the 3 things that we primarily used.
Okay.
That's clear.
Would you tell me about any particularly humorous or unusual events that happened?
Yeah, one that was funny to me, and the guy, I wouldn't have done it, but we had a seaman on there, because I was in the engineering part of it, normally in the generating room, which is where my station. And we had this seaman who was a real nice guy, but we got the big thing went under the ship with a jackhammer in it. That thing got down and lost its cable, and we couldn't pull it back up, so we couldn't go anywhere back to port. So he put on his bathing suit and tied a rope around his middle, and off he dived and went down there under it. Now, he didn't have any kind of breathing apparatus or anything, so he'd go down and work 30 seconds and come back up. And we had a great time with that one. He got a lot of teasing about it. That's the thing I think of right now. I'm sure there's others if I thought about it.
What did you think of officers and fellow soldiers, or seamen?
They were, what did I think of them? They were good guys, all of them. And of course, there was a thing which I kind of resented a little bit. We had that's the way it was though back in 1944 when I first joined it. I don't know what you'd call him, a black guy, the only black guy on the ship who waited on the officer's table. There were 2 officers. So this guy was the only rank he could have. He wasn't eligible for anything else. I didn't like that very much. He was a nice young man from Mobile, Alabama. And but they were all nice people, good people. The captain was from Walla Walla, Washington, and I don't remember his name. After all, that was 1945 when he was captain, this guy.
Did you keep a personal diary?
No, I didn't. I didn't keep a diary at all.
What do you recall about the day your service ended?
Well, it was with great joy. I'd been in there 2 years, and I got on what they call points. If you run into that, And before you could get your time of discharge, you earned so many points for this and this and this. And I was extraordinarily pleased to leave. They had wanted me to stay and go into something else, and there were a few people that I think they had planned to take some of us and send us on to other schools and so forth, and I turned them all down. I didn't want to do that, so I went home.
How do you get points?
Time that you spent in there accounted for so much, and I don't remember the rest of it. There was various things. I think it was mostly a matter of years and months.
Did you join a veterans organization?
Yeah, I did when I got out, and I don't remember which one. Now, let me see, I can't remember.
Okay. What did you go on to do as a career after the war?
Would you repeat that, please? I'm sorry.
What did you go on to do as a career after the war?
As a courier?
Yes.
Career. Job.
Your job after the war.
Oh, I went to school, mostly. I went to an engineering school for a year, 2 years. And then I got a job as a master bottler for a bottling company. It used to be Double Cola. I don't know if they do that anymore or not. I don't think they do. It was my job was in Birmingham, Alabama. And I bottled for them. I bottled for the Clico Club. And then I left that and went in the insurance business and sold insurance for a year, I guess, only. And then I went back to school. And that's about the story of it.
Did your military experience or your Navy experience influence your thinking about war or the military in general?
Well, I expect so. I saw how necessary it was. All of us were very necessary, I thought. Now I've kind of become convinced I don't like war. I don't approve of it. I think it's unnecessary. It's like the present war, I'm dead set against. Absolutely dead set against. I thought it was wrong. Vietnam was wrong, in my own opinion. My son was in the Vietnam War, and he hated it worse than I did. You know, I think war is a sad thing that people have to die for. Some of them for nothing, actually. Like the present war, I think of all the children. Oh boy, that just doesn't do it.
How did your service and experiences affect your life?
Well, it gave me a great boost because I learned a whole lot of, technical things in electricity. Then I grew up a whole lot. And I was just 17 when I went in there. And you can put me on the streets of New York City at 17 years old? Huh, come on. I didn't know anything. Thought I did, but I wasn't grown up. And it affected my whole life, really, because it gave me well, I don't know why exactly, come to think of it. The ambition to go on and get more education and do something other than that. That wasn't for me, I found out.
Is there anything that you'd like to add that we haven't covered?
Oh, boy. Yeah, one thing that I appreciated so much, what was called the GI Bill, that paid for my education when I got out. And I went to several different schools, 8, I think, over the years, adding up things. And had I not gone in the Navy and had I not had that GI Bill, I could not have gone to college. And nobody had any money in those days. I mean, very few of us did. And as I left from the North City in 1944 and never went back, but I didn't have a good background scholastically. It was a poor high school. I'd wished for a Minerva High School lots of times, but I didn't have that, so I had to make up for it later on. It took me like 19 years. That's a long time to go to college, but that's what I did. Does that help?
Well, thank you for coming and sharing your story.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Thank you for your service to our country.
You're most welcome. It was my experience really was very good, actually. I had good duty. I had based in New York City, all the entertainment values there. Based in Miami, Florida for a short while. Norfolk, Virginia, which I didn't like. But actually, I came out of World War II, didn't got a good education, which, as I said, I would not have had it had it not been for that. But really, it was good for me. But a lot of other people didn't have it that well. My father-in-law, for example, was captured in World War II in Germany and was in prison over there for a year. I didn't have anything like that. Mine was all good. I had a lot of friends, had liberty everywhere, pleasant people. Everybody didn't have that, but I did, and I appreciate it still to this day.